Oh, doom, doom, doom. Oh, say make love to me.
And we are live. Welcome. It is Saturday morning, so you know it's time for another live edition of The Extra Point. Got P.O. Colton, got Tasha T. Sizzle, and we got Michigan Michael Hasso. It's a suns out, guns out Saturday morning here at The Extra Point. Glad to have you all on board. Now, we got a ton to get into today, and let me first start by giving you, Mike, you, Tasha, and everyone watching a round of applause. Y'all, we made it through the year. This is the last weekend without any sort of football. Ladies and gentlemen, we made it. It's been a long, hard road, but we made it. We got football coming up next week, and we got plenty of football to talk about today. Let's start with the Big Ten. We're going to go into Tasha's old stomping grounds, old Naptown, Indiana, where the new look Big Ten held their media days. And as I was kind of watching it progress throughout the week, there were two words that really stood out to me. One is pressure, and one is expectations. We got a whole new cast of characters as far as the coaching carousel goes in the Big Ten, and there's some different levels of pressure meter that I would like for you to help us talk through today. Let's start with Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes, since they are the overwhelming betting favorite to win the Big Ten. I think they got 21 first place votes out of 27. I think Oregon got the other ones. But Ryan Day, let me throw some numbers out to you, T. Sizzle, Michigan Mike. 39-3 in Big Ten play during his tenure at Ohio State. Mike, who are those three losses to?
Michigan.
Tasha, what you say? 39-3 will put you a statue up on any other campus but Ohio State's campus. You see that ring. You see the bling doing its thing. So let me ask you this. Tasha, I'm going to start with you. You batting lead off today. Would a fourth straight loss you assert absolute dominance over the Big Ten if you're Ryan Day? Can he lose to Michigan a fourth time and not have the Hounds come for his job?
Well, he can if he gets them into the playoff, which everyone is saying, at least three teams are, 3 to 4 if you count Michigan, the FIs, USC, and Oregon. If you count them, if they're saying if he has a deep enough run and maybe gets them to the championship game, that will save his job. And I'm like, oh, how the tides have turned. Yes. Like, he better be thanking God that they expanded the Big Ten, because when he loses after Thanksgiving, his ass would have been gone.
Right. Mike, what say you?
Yeah, I agree. I think he could lose, get in the playoffs, and then potentially win a national title, and they would be fine with that, right? But like, you take that 12-team playoffs out, like, there's no way he's making that playoff for the top four. So, I mean, you saw that last couple of years, actually.
Now, Mike, you brought up an interesting scenario because it almost played out in real time 2 years ago when Michigan beat Ohio. Ohio backdoored their way into the Sugar Bowl and was a shank kick away from getting Georgia up out the paint and going on to the national championship game.
Yep.
Let's say they do beat Michigan, but they do not win the title. Does Michigan winning a national title put even more pressure on them? Does that little cherry on top put more pressure on them from a fan base standpoint? Because they had to sit back and watch us win a title, which I'm sure was their worst case scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see the transition of the rivalry has gone, in the past 10 years, Ohio State's favor. We had some coaches go over there, pretty much say like, oh, there's just a different level of intensity, the practices, this and that. And then you saw Harbaugh start changing. Our strength and conditioning coach really stepped it up. And so we transitioned and we started getting those NFL coaches in. And then that was like the butter, right? I think that's what Ohio State's doing now. They have the talent. Like, they've always out recruited most of these teams out here. So it's like, that's not the problem. So now it's like they have everything. There's no more excuses left. They literally have to win the title or it's a bust.
Because we got Chip Kelly in here now to totally run our offense. We'll see how that works out for them.
Yeah.
Right. Because one thing that Michigan is going to do, even if they're 7-6, is they're going to play good defense. So
If nothing else is going to be played in Ann Arbor, A² AA is going to be some defense.
Yeah, it's going to be some defense. So that will be interesting. We will save them for last because they are the reigning Big Ten and national champions. But let's go to a newcomer in the division. Oregon is pretty much taking up the rest of the first place votes that Ohio State didn't garner as far as a betting favorite. Dan Lanning in his last 2 years have been pretty remarkable at Oregon. He got caught up in the Michael Penix Jr. sweepstakes, which cost him a shot at a championship last year. But he's coming into Big Ten play with a little heat behind him. Now, I'm sure y'all saw that Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade size duck that was floating in the river.
I thought that was cool, though.
That was fly. I ain't gonna lie. That was pretty fly. I can't stand Dan Lanning. I can't. Because he embarrassed Uncle Dion last year and snatched their confidence and sent them spiraling out of contention. All right, I don't like him for that. He talked crap about my uncle and backed it up and spanked him and got him on up out the paint. I don't like him. But I do like Oregon. I didn't want to face them last year in the playoffs, and they did us a solid. Washington did. Let me ask you this. Given the fact that they're new to the conference, do they have the same level of expectations? Even though they fell short last year, people thought they were a championship contender.
No, they don't have the same expectations as Ohio State. I mean, their expectation is to be competitive in a new conference that is stronger on the defensive side. Their expectation is they do have a lot of returning players. That's why they're up so high. So the expectation is for them to be competitive in these playoffs and get that experience. They don't really have that yet. So that's their expectation.
Work of the Delta. I'm sorry.
Good morning, Melanie. Good morning, Jarrell. Good morning, Denise. Denise, glad to have you guys on board. Tasha, what are your thoughts about Oregon coming in their first season? They have a lot of unfinished business left from last year. Surely a bad taste in their mouth.
I mean, they have unfinished business, but they got the benefit of playing in a watered down Pac 89 or whatever, how many schools are in there. Because for the longest, it was only them and USC going back and forth. Then you had Washington coming up, making a push. Arizona
got a couple of times.
Yeah, Arizona got good, last season. They benefited from that, and not taking anything away from Oregon because they have proven, throughout the years that they can get in there and they can tussle with the best of them.
Right.
But their expectations, if they come in, they're in the Big Ten first year. If they come in here and they don't really do anything, no one's going to look at them like, they're going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
New conference. Maybe they wasn't adjusted to, the travel and this, that, and other thing. Because, they always say that's a big thing, the travel. That's why they never wanted to have a playoff. But it's okay for the regular season.
Great point. Somebody had their Wheaties this morning because that is going to be a topic of conversation. Michigan going all the way to Seattle to play Washington and USC coming all the way across country to play Michigan. It's going to be some interesting dynamics as far as the time of day they play in because Michigan love that noon kickoff, 11 a.m. Central Time. How can those West Coast teams adapt to that? We'll get more into that as the season approaches. What is your expectation for Oregon this year, Mike? Playoff, 10 wins, 9 wins. They won 11 games last year.
Yeah, I would say playoffs. I expect them to win one game in the playoffs or get a first-round bye. That's my expectation of them.
What about you, Tosh?
I don't know, man. I didn't pull up their schedule. I don't know. It's kind of all this conference realigning is making things kind of
It is.
Don't know how they're going to adapt. Are they still going to want to play their style of ball in the Big Ten, which we know Big Ten is always offensive line dominated and defense.
Yes.
Those Pac-12 teams out there, they basically all offense. Are they going to be able to adapt? So it's kind of hard to really know where teams like that are going to fall.
And I think that plays into Mike's opening premise that the expectation level, they get a pretty much of a pass this year from Oregon fans because it is so new. But one thing that you Big Ten coaches better beware of, Oregon got that Nike money behind them. And you don't want them coming into your stadium on the East Coast and in the Midwest dominating and looking fantastic and having your recruits that's coming in looking over at Oregon sideline like what happened to Ohio State when they played Michigan. And Michigan beat them, and they was like, oh, we about to flip.
Because, bro, Oregon got 1,800 colorways They got all the shoes.
Yes.
But have you seen their visitors' locker room? It looks like a division. It looks like a high school locker room.
Did you say it was Fisk University's locker room?
I didn't.
Like, is that good or bad when you say that? A high school locker room.
Yeah, right. Because in Texas, it looked like the Shea Olay. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Days and everything. Good morning, Noble Pitts. Good morning, Martrice Hastings. Oregon is the force multiplier for me. Like how they could come in and win it. Now, y'all know I hate Ohio, but as a Big Ten purist, I do not want Oregon to come in and win
Right.
that.
They have a weak schedule too. They just have Ohio State and Michigan pretty much. I mean, I guess if they win, they could play Ohio State or Michigan again. So
yeah,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
They're saying with 2 losses, teams have the possibility of getting in. So if those are their only 2 losses,
right?
Even if they don't make it if they don't make it like to a championship game or whatever, they still have an opportunity to get in. But if if they're doing all this strength of schedule crap again, if their schedule is weak and then your losses were against the top 2 teams in the Big Ten, how would you justify putting them in? See, now we done open up a whole new damn can of worms.
That's why I love talking sports with you too, because not only did you open up another can of worms, you just segued me into our next topic, which is James Franklin, because James Franklin has been facing that same scenario for the last several years. I got some numbers for you. James Franklin is 52-16 in his 10 seasons at Penn State against everyone else in the Big Ten. He's 4-16 against Michigan and Ohio State. Oh, and everything in the last few years. He gets his 10 when he has 5 10-win seasons. And if you think about it, Penn State, he hasn't done a bad job there. But me and Tasha are old enough, maybe not be as old to remember this. But we remember when in the early 80s, in the mid 80s, when Joe Pa had Penn State rolling before they came to the Big Ten. We feared that move to the Big Ten when they came in the early 90s.
Looking like they were playing straight out of prison. They ain't had nothing on their uniforms, no name, no emblem on the helmet. It was just straight nittany blue and white.
And they put hands on folks. As Miami's 86 team that was supposed to be the greatest collection of talent of all time, you went out there and got shut down by Joe Pa and Penn State. Mike, let me start with you. What is a reasonable expectation? You see Penn State up close and personal. What is a reasonable expectation for them in the new expanded 12-team playoff?
Finish top 5, top 6 team in the conference. I don't really have any expectations of them. I mean, I gave them their expectations when they had their best team, and they're supposed to win something with Saquon, but didn't really do anything. So that was pretty much, they're going to have to wait another 10 years after that. So,
oh my God, Mike.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
no, finish your thought, Mike.
I was just going to say, look at the other teams. Like, the other teams are ready. Penn State is like, oh, we might be ready. Like, what do you mean might be ready? And that was even talking about their quarterback. What was it, a couple of years ago? They're like, no, we got a 5-star quarterback.
Yeah, it's early.
And I'm like, okay, like we got the number 1 defense. So,
Tasha, with Mike saying that he has no expectations for them other than to finish in the top 5 or 6, which will leave them on the outside of the college football playoff, should he be on the hot seat entering this year, if that's the case?
I mean, he should have been on the hot seat a long time ago. And, I'm going to always bet on black. And I love James Franklin. I love everything he did when he came down to Vanderbilt and switched them all around.
Yes.
But he is kind of becoming like the Jeff Fisher of college football.
Oh, no.
And that's old 50-50. That's old.
Yes.
Just keep your relevant. Keep your name out there. Don't have a losing season, but you're not doing anything. He's not doing anything.
You can lull a fan base to sleep that way. You saw what happened playing in real time when we both lived in Nashville. That we like, oh, well, he went to the Super Bowl 12 years ago, and we're not the worst team in the league, and we're kind of some count, but not really some count. We beat Jacksonville on Monday Night Football. That was fun. But then we lost to the Texans, and they're an expansion team. That's a nightmare scenario. I'd rather just bottom out and get a top quarterback or be great, as I digress. So Shamika says, I'm over here watching the swimming heats ready for some football. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, we're going to talk some Olympics later on. You hang in there with us, Shamika. We're going to talk some Olympics. Good morning to you, Shamika. Good morning, Kenny. Good morning, Christina. Shouts out from Georgia. Now, Christina, because you on here today, we're not going to bring up no Georgia stuff today because we just don't have time. Mike got somewhere to be today, so we can't get in to Georgia. We will get into Lincoln Riley and USC. Now, Mike, you remember? Now, you are old enough to remember this one. You remember when people accused Lincoln Riley of avoiding the SEC when he packed up his bags along with his prized possession overall #1 pick, Caleb Williams, and went out to the West Coast. They said he was ducking that SEC smoke. Well, as fate would have it, you're now in an equally competitive Big Ten, and you don't have the bullets in the chamber to win a shootout. Not according to my eyes. Am I seeing something that I shouldn't be seeing, Tasha T. Sizzle? What's going on with Lincoln Riley and USC? What are their expectations?
Like you said, he out there in South Central because USC is in the hood. For those of you who do not know, he's out there with an empty six shooter, just twirling that barrel. That's all you got.
Dusty Ruger.
With a Dusty Ruger. Shouts out at RIP to our beloved Carlos.
Yes, he's enjoying the Olympics from Ohio. Go ahead.
It's gonna be a struggle for him. Again, because now, if you're bringing schools, UCLA, USC, other schools into their conference, everyone's going to get that shine. So it's not the luster of, oh, let me be in LA,
right?
To get these deals, to get all of this and get all of that. He's going to struggle with recruiting, and he's going to struggle with transfer, because we all know everything west of the Mississippi, if it's a transfer, Deion's swooping them up.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go, Uncle Deion. Let's go, Mike. Lincoln Riley went 8-5 last year. He lost 5 games with the #1 overall pick, the best quarterback in college football. I think they gave a new meaning to the term "got the brakes beat off of them" because they literally couldn't stop a cold. They couldn't stop with a parking brake up. If Caleb didn't score 45 points, they were getting beat. Their biggest claim to fame was getting beat by Tulane in the Cotton Bowl 2 years ago. What the hell is going on with Lincoln Riley and USC, Mike?
You look at Lincoln Riley historically. I'm talking about Oklahoma. He's never had good defensive teams. He puts everything into the offense. And I told this to one of my coworkers. Shout out to Ron. He's USC's from LA. I said, your biggest thing is your defense. And he's like, no, we got this new coordinator. I'm like, okay, well, that's your scapegoat already, because now you have a new defensive coordinator. You don't even know what he's going to do. And you're in a new conference. Like, Lincoln Riley he doesn't know how to coach defense. He doesn't even know how to hire a good defensive coach. Like, all this stuff is the biggest thing. I think my expectation for them, it's going to come down to 2 biggest games. One, the first one, LSU will actually see what USC is going to do. They have a pretty weak schedule. They don't play Ohio State. They do play Michigan, so that's another big game. But then after that, it's like, okay. And then last game is Notre Dame. The last game is going to come down to Notre Dame and USC. Whoever wins could be that 12th seed for the playoffs. So
Notre Dame gets automatically, they are the first one after the conference champions if they get in. And Notre Dame ain't going to be no pushover this year. So I can see USC losing that game. But what Mike just said, what did I say? Those teams coming in, Pac-12, Big 12, they don't play defense.
You're in the wrong conference for that.
Right, you in the wrong conference. You going to the Big Ten, the SEC. You're gonna have to play defense, and those teams have shown us time and time again that they are not going to D up.
People, I think, and I know that the Goon Squad has a lot of fun with Mike going back and forth throughout the season between SEC and Big Ten, and a lot of the people in the South. Me and Tasha excluded, because we were Michigan fans and we followed the Big Ten religiously and closely, for all those years. You go to Ames, Iowa, you ain't gonna just be waving at them kids. They play defense. Wisconsin plays defense. Michigan State plays defense. They ain't no count right now, but they play defense. You can get clipped by a mid-tier Big Ten team if you don't pack your hard hat.
And that's not even including the teams that are, like Tasha says, skating without a stick, like Maryland. Illinois, who just wants to ruin your weekend, right? Like, these teams will fight. So, I mean, shout out to Maryland and Rutgers too. So,
and I'm gonna give a real hot take. It's not necessarily a hot take, but I'm
come on, T. Well, your name is T. Sizzle. Bring the heat.
I'm gonna say this right now. Never in life have I put a conference above the SEC. Big Ten got it.
Mike, Are you speechless?
I
Mama,
tagged it. It's the 27th of July at 9:22 a.m. Central Time.
Who the SEC got? Saban gone. They ain't got number Georgia. Florida, we don't know what Florida gonna do.
Florida. Shout out to Florida for having the hardest schedule by far.
Exactly.
But Mike, let's not bury the lead. Should we just go ahead and do our shout outs now that Tasha said that? I don't want to give her no room to backtrack.
I mean, the balls are going to be pretty decent. LSU is always, a form. They'll get in there. They'll mix things up. But other than Georgia, what do you have in the SEC this year?
You mean the parolees?
Texas, I guess.
No, and I think that Oklahoma will.
I mean, you got I keep forgetting they're in the SEC now, but that's all you have. But those are the only two teams people are talking about. Ain't nobody talking about Boomer Sooner. Ain't nobody trying to see that Schooner fall over on the field again. Nobody's even talking about Oklahoma.
They've been the same since that, though.
All they're talking, y'all. If y'all please Google the time when that damn Schooner fell over as they was trotting out before the game.
They'll pull off the back of that wagon like Jazz and the Fresh Prince when he get thrown out the house.
He goes, ah.
Yes, you did, AP. Yes, you did.
But those are the only two schools really in the SEC that people are talking about.
And for good reason, Langston.
But you go to the Big Ten. Who are they talking about? You're talking about, of course, us. You're talking about the FIs. You're talking about USC. You're talking about Oregon. Even though Penn State is 10 and whatever, you're talking about Penn State. You're talking about everybody that is in the Big Ten now. Well, as we call it, the Big 87. We're talking about the Big 87 now.
Here we go. Langston on cue. Only time we talked about Oklahoma was Tim McVeigh. Don't you start. Don't you start. Mike got a hard out. I don't need y'all tussling this morning. Now, Jarrell, you said hook 'em. You do know there's a we can move Mike over. Mike can slide over on that. And we can put you right there in that fourth box that fateful Saturday morning. You know you got an open ticket to come on here and defend your hook'ems because y'all got to go to the A double. I don't know about that. I don't know. Mike said that Brock Ewers is going to go on and declare pro after that game. And they're going to have to put in the Manning boy because he ain't going to make it out of you. Saw Michael Penix.
He's like, eh.
You saw Michael Penix after that championship game.
Ain't no Michael Penix slander going to be allowed. I don't care how crooked it looks.
Fair enough. Oh, okay. He says he's ready. So we got that on wax. Now, let's stick with Washington since y'all segueing so beautifully today. I love these two. Trust me, I do. Washington and Michigan, let's lump them together because they're the two that met for the title. They're in identical situations. Both are breaking in new head coaches, new starting quarterback, new star receiver, new starting running back, new assistant coaches. Both of them are. That I don't think we've ever seen that in the history of college football for two teams to just play for a national championship. Let's start with Washington, Tasha. No Michael Penix Jr. They now have, is it Todd Fisk? Jed Fish. Jed Fish is the new coach. He coached at Arizona. He's the new coach at Washington. Was that a comet in the sky scenario?
Say it again.
Was Washington a comet in the sky, kind of like Cam's Auburn team?
Yeah.
Mike, you agree?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so no need to waste time.
To even get into that.
That's why I was like, next.
Okay, I agree. I don't like it. Oh,
there you go. See,
I thought to tell y'all a couple of weeks ago that damn some euros is you got to get Manning out there.
Not Mr. Cover Boy. Y'all ain't down. We like our Cover Boy on ours.
The Don.
We like Donovan Edwards on our cover.
Lucky number 7. Yes, lucky number 7. Now, Langston says Washington fall between ranking 20 and 25. Yeah, that puts you out of the mix. That puts you in the Holiday Bowl, and you're playing on one of them days where it's a PTO day after Christmas, and nobody's going to be watching. Like, I totally agree. But saving the best for last, the reigning Big Ten, 3-time Big Ten champion, reigning national champion, the all-time winningest program in college football history, the most titles in college football history. We can go on and on and on and on. The resurrecting the ghost of Bo Schembechler are the hallowed halls of Michigan up there in Ann Arbor, where you don't even find a speck of dirt in the grass. The place is immaculate. The place is beautiful. I love my Michigan Wolverines. Mike, can we get a flex one time? Can you show the Michigan? Get here. That's what we're talking about. Champions. Champions, damn it. Everybody listen up. Now, Tasha, now that I got that out the way, I'm nervous. I'm nervous this year. I am nervous. I love Sharon Moore, even though he wore a 1992 Players Ball suit from Outkast at his press conference.
That was a
We
nice
still
one.
didn't see what kind of shoes he had on. I guarantee y'all he had on some Gators. I don't. That suit gave me all kind of Cab Calloway vibes.
Yes, and all right with me, Janet Jackson. Mike and Tasha, whoever just wants to jump in, somebody jump in, because here's my concerns. Our run started with the arrival of one Mr. McCarthy, Mr. J.J. McCarthy, Mr. Blake Corum, Mr. Roman Wilson, the holy trinity in Michigan in my eyes. The most important trio that's come through there since 1997. They're all in the pros now. The Svengali, Mr. Jim Harbaugh, Mr. Khaki Pants, say what you want about him, but he's won at every level. He's won at every stop. He's turned around every program. He's gone. Mike, what are your expectations this year? Somebody help me out.
My expectations, I would say playoffs and continue being competitive and continue getting these recruits, which he's doing already. You check this offseason, like we even have 5 stars coming through. And even with Harbaugh, these 5 stars besides JJ wasn't really, they're like, nah, I'm okay. I think even Corum was a 4-star technically. And so my expectations just get to the playoffs. I would say 2. I'm gonna go 2, maybe like the 2 to 3 loss. That's where I have them, because one of these games can be a coin flip. So that's where I'm chilling. Like, you know me, like I'm like, hey, y'all did what y'all needed to do. Take a year off. My expectation isn't for them to win the national title, but however, this next year after that, let's get back to work.
Right.
I mean, before you even ask a question, I don't know if y'all can even see that. You see this? All this is the channel I subscribe to, Michigan. All you see is recruiting, exclusive.
Mike, you starting to rub off on her.
Recruiting.
It's nice to see. It's good.
It really is.
I've been watching this
today.
I've been watching this channel. I just don't like YouTube too much.
Mike Langston is starting with you this morning. He said 2 to 3 losses don't equal playoff. Do you agree or disagree, Mike?
Disagree. I mean, you got to look at the teams that they're playing. If they lose to Texas, okay. If that's your 1 or 2 or 3 ranked team, like, okay, and it's competitive.
Because didn't Bama get in with a loss to Texas? Hello, everybody.
And good evening. Mom says, go blue forever. We're not scared. Bring it. Playoffs plus. Don't sleep on Michigan. Get your sleep machine ready. Get it oiled up and lubed up. Mike, I'm cautiously optimistic for 2 reasons. Offensive line and the defensive line. If we can control the line of scrimmage, we should be in every single game. Look at Alabama. We controlled the line of scrimmage, and that was the margin of victory that we needed.
That's not going to be a problem. No, that's not going to be a problem. You look at our last season, like we were circling people in and out. Like these people.
Right. I'm saying that's where I'm cautiously optimistic is in the trenches. Yeah. Like we got the offensive and defensive lines.
I agree. I think where I'm afraid and where I don't know is the position we don't know. We've seen Edwards play. We know what we're going to get out of him. We've seen our defense. We've seen our secondary. What's our wide receivers look like? What's our quarterback look like? What's their chemistry look like?
I have full confidence in that quarterback.
You're an Alex Orji fan?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm nervous.
Because to me, you can if all they're gonna do is run the ball anyway, you can put anybody out there to do this.
Ask James Franklin about running the ball down their throat. What was it, 32 straight runs? I don't know if you can do that.
I mean, you can't do it now. They may be ready for it, but if that's all you're going to do is just hand the ball off and run, that'll give the quarterback. I saw the spring game. He has a good arm. He made good decisions.
He has a cannon.
He didn't look bad, but to me, it's more the other skill positions, like you said. Do we have our wide receivers intact? Do we have an O-line? He is a quarterback that is versatile, that can take it and tuck it and run if he needs to. What are we going to do on defense? Are we going to be able to stop people the way we have the last 3 seasons?
Now, don't make me roll up we don't have no sleeves today, so I can't roll up my sleeves and fight you with Mike. But
no, seriously, they're saying teams that have 2 losses could get in, and depending on conference affiliation, they said 3 loss may or may not, more likely not, will keep you
Right.
out. But they're saying, I mean,
There's going to be more. There's going to be more 2-loss teams because these conferences are getting stronger.
Right.
What are your and we're going to get to that because Matt Rule made a real hot take as the media days close. I want to get your thoughts on what about Ohio State as it relates to Michigan. We've had they haven't beaten us since before COVID, y'all. It's over 1,700 days and counting. Mike, does Sharon get a pass if we don't clip them in the shoe this year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Harbaugh got how many passes? What, 5?
But not from me, he didn't, because I wanted him gone.
Because we were on his ass.
We was on his ass. You stuck with him, and it paid off. Right. I wanted him out of there.
So, yeah, I mean, I like Sharon, so I'm good with him.
Tasha, you agree that it's not an unforgivable sin to lose one in the shoe this year?
I mean, they're going to give him a pass, like we said. First-year coach. Basically half the staff is new. You're replacing NFL players,
right?
So he's going to get a pass, but right. I don't think he will go past 4 years if he doesn't.
No,
I agree.
No, because the new bar has been set. Now
I would say 3 max.
Yeah, 3. If he's 3-0-3 against the FIs, he might as well pack up his shit out of Schembechler Hall.
Right. That was a very nice wordplay there. My message to you, Sharon, and you were a key cog in what we accomplished last year with filling in for Harbaugh. But here's my advice to you. Don't you even think about losing to Michigan State or Purdue or Nebraska or Wisconsin. You can't lose those. We'll give you Oregon. We'll give you Ohio. We may even give you USC on a fluke weather day. But you can't be losing to little brother.
No, we're not even giving you USC. We should not be losing to the likes of USC.
Mm-hmm. And that's the kick off the Big Ten conference game too. We ain't doing that.
I don't think USC gonna be as bad. I think they may be.
I'm not saying they're gonna be bad, but they're not gonna. I mean, look at what they did with Caleb Williams, and I do believe Caleb Williams turned it down. Because he knew he was going to go to the league. He didn't really want to get hurt. I think he toned it down even before he didn't play. In the last few games or whatever.
Is that on the sidebar? Is that what you meant by coasting, Mike? Just like turning off the Jets and just not playing the string out?
Yeah, just like, okay, let's take it back a little bit.
Yeah, okay, and I really believe that's what Caleb Williams did. But I mean, again, I'm not really a Caleb Williams fan per se. He did win the Heisman Trophy the year before. It's kind of hard to replace that talent because we always say, the Heisman Trophy winner gets to the NFL and they're not good, but they won it in college, which means they were the best.
And he was that year.
In college. Right. So, we don't know how much of that was really Caleb Williams driven.
Well, I'm going to circle back to Mike with USC. If you can't stop anybody and Big Ten can stop you, how in the world are you going to get out of the conference and get to a playoff? Good stuff. Now, to wrap up Big Ten Media Days, Matt Rule, Nebraska's head coach, he got on the podium and made a comment that I almost fell out of my chair. But now that we've had a talk through the Big Ten, I'm wondering if he was a little more on point than I thought initially. He said that the Big Ten should get 4 automatic qualifying bids to the 12-team playoff because they're the strongest conference in the country. Natasha just came on here and said that we've usurped the SEC. Mike, do you agree with Matt Rule?
I agree with him, and he's not the only person that has brought this up. Big Ten and SEC actually conversated like off wax, if you want to call it that way, of like putting this in writing to where they think that they should have had 4, and then the other 4 that would go randomly or whatever to the other conferences. So I don't disagree. I think SEC and Big Ten by far have the top 2 best conferences, so they should get 4.
Wow, that's a third of the thing. Tasha, what do you think about that?
I mean, I like him coming in, talking big talk. Because if you got a coach that you think is scared and shaky, you ain't gonna get nobody want to come play with no scared and shaky coach. But what was his record in Carolina? I believe he had 11 wins in 3 seasons. Dude, I'm gonna need you to put up. If this is the way you trying to get your team up, I get it, and I'm all here for that. So I can't,
right, because we love that about Dion.
Right. So but I'm gonna need you to put your boots on and get your team to win. And just like Prime, Coach Dion, y'all got to win. Y'all got all this big talk. But again, I appreciate him saying that, because you got to give your team confidence. You got to put now the conference that you're now in. You have to put that conference above and beyond all other conferences.
Right, and it's a shrewd business move, to your point, Tasha. To if you're a fringe team, because let's not forget, they landed the top quarterback in the draft class last year. He turned down Georgia and went to Nebraska.
But Langston, you have to look at it. If you look at Michigan, you look at the FIs, you look at Oregon. Who are they saying is the fourth team that could possibly get in?
Penn State.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna go.
USC.
I'm not gonna go as far as Penn State. Penn
State, USC, Washington, all kind of clumped in as vying for that.
But take those top three I just named. If they all go in with 1 or 2 losses, they're in. Period. Point blank. Right. Period. Then you have, like you said, the next level of teams. If you're in the top conference, which I'm saying is the top conference as of now, because they haven't, shown me anything different, you're going to put a fourth team in there, because who else do you have? You have the ACC, who we think would be a Florida State, who got shafted last year by getting in. So if SEC is not going to give you 4.
I think the Heather Dinich that covers college football for ESPN, she said that with the new conference realignment, if these were the conferences last year, then 10 of the 12 slots would have gone to Big Ten and SEC.
Big Ten and SEC. All of those schools. Yes, she sure did. She said that on the first day.
Yeah.
That's the case. So I can see, but again, we don't know what the Big 12 is going to do. We don't know if, for whatever reason, Dion turns this around. If Dion gets out of there and escapes with 2 losses, then you're going to have him in there. We just don't. We don't know. But I can.
That's the beauty of college football.
Right. I can see the Big Ten and the SEC, which right now are the tops, getting 4 teams in. And then, like I said, followed by Florida State, and then whoever comes out of the big, what comes out of the Big 12.
Right. It's going to be fascinating. There was some really good conversation pieces. I think that we can argue, and we'll do a power ranking next week between the Big Ten and the SEC. Like if they have to, we'll go through the tiers of the teams and see who really does have the.
Are we going to do? I know we normally do our final 4, but since it's the playoffs, are we going to give our final 12 playoff prediction?
Tasha, what do you think? We can have a little group chat real quick. What do you think? She says she ain't scared of no smoke. I'm gonna have you 12 ready. I'm gonna have you 12 ready.
Stay tuned, everyone.
Be one of them, Langston. So make sure you tune in. Hell, I ain't trying to be fighting on Olympic Saturday, but you done started something, bro. All right, now we can continuing, not concluding. We're continuing. I'm all flustered. We're continuing our countdown to kickoff with the NFC West this week. Basically, it's San Francisco and the Dreamettes. So we got our lead singer in the 49ers and 357 back there doing this. So let's start with the 49ers, because Tasha, since she's been so transparent today, Mike, let's see if she continues with this.
Go ahead. I'm gonna get my coffee. Go ahead.
Go get your coffee, Mike.
Y'all know what I told y'all. We ain't got no Trent Williams. We ain't got no Brandon Ayuk. First round playoff exit. I said it.
Mike, this is a show for the record books. You said it was on 7/7/24 in the year of our Lord at 9:22 and 9:40 a.m.
Again, when I see crap, I say crap. I call crap out. I'm not a homer. I tell it like it is. And
I am.
Trent Williams is Trent Williams is the best offensive tackle in the league.
Yes, he is.
He was the reason that the 49ers have been doing what they've been doing the last 2 or 3 seasons. Is because of, especially coming in with with Brock Purdy as the quarterback.
Right.
It is because of him that Brock Purdy wasn't on his ass more.
Y'all, when San Francisco had Trent Williams running in motion on them those pitch out plays to Christian McCaffrey, I felt so sorry for those edge rushers. This guy got a head of steam coming at your ass around that corner.
And let me tell y'all how dominant this man is. That man is a cancer survivor. That man almost lost his life. Because
speaking of cancer survivors, good morning, Stephanie Coulter, Steph Strong in the house. AP Coulter survived. AP culture. Y'all are segueing the hell out of this show today.
I mean, I'm serious. When he played for Washington, they kept sending him to doctors and they were misdiagnosing that man. So for that man to literally almost be on his deathbed to still come out and perform at the level that he is performing, like, come on now, you got to pay that man. And as much as I love Debo and all of that, you still need Brandon Ayuk. We got Jennings. He walking in there with this Tweety Bird hair. But then y'all draft Ricky Pearsall and he's already hurt.
He doesn't seem like a 49er to me. Y'all like MC Light. Gotta get a roughneck. Like y'all like
Ricky Pearsall got a little umph to him. He ain't your average white guy.
But he ain't CMC white.
No.
Because CMC is run up, get done up white. Like I want that. I want him on my team. Like CMC is number one overall fantasy.
I do know that in that Florida State game, Ricky Pearsall did have decent numbers. And when I watched him, just not knowing that the 49ers were going to draft him, when you would look at the Florida highlights, it was Ricky Pearsall.
No, he's talented. He is. He can get the goods done.
But he ain't Brandon Ayuk.
No. Now, Mike, let me ask you this, because there's a cloud that's slowly coming over the San Francisco 49ers, and that's called Brock Purdy's upcoming contract. We're going to get into a couple of QB contracts and what that means, tying it into the 49ers. You can't spend it on everybody. You had to pay Christian McCaffrey this offseason. He got 4 years, $62 million, $15 million a year. He earned that. If Derrick Henry making 12, you got to give Chris McCaffrey 16. He's the straw that stirs the drink for the 49ers offense, the reigning offensive player of the year in 2024. And that's saying something when you got some of those talented receivers out there in the league for him to win that award, and he earned it. So we had to pay him. Mike, if you have to pick between Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk, and one got to go because you got to pay Brock Purdy next year, who are you paying?
I mean, I'm with Tasha, though. I mean, Trent Williams, that's – you got to start with the line, there's a lot of talent that's coming through here from like the skill level that are coming through the NFL draft. And it's obvious that people are starting right away and then, getting touches. You see even Puka, we'll get to him, but ain't nobody drafted him. He just showed out, being a top 10 receiver. So,
and then you heard, I don't know if y'all saw the podcast when Romo Dunze was on there. They asked him, did y'all see, because he transferred. It was like, did y'all see or did y'all know Puka was that? And first thing Roma Dunze said was, yeah, we knew that was him.
Yeah. Puka is pushing Cooper Kupp for top dog in LA.
But I think Cooper Kupp got lucky. Cooper Kupp got lucky and he got hot really because Odell Beckham got hurt in that Super Bowl, because we all know he would have been the MVP with the numbers he was putting up. Cooper Kupp was a really, really, really good receiver. But, you had OBJ, you had Cooper Kupp. Who else did you have? Van Jefferson? Who else did you have? Like at wide receiver?
Nobody's been playing fantasy football. Mike, she's talking about the waiver wire pickups now. I love it.
That's true.
It only took me 20 years to get on the fantasy football, but hey.
She beat me in the playoffs. Death upon her this year. Oh, you going down this year. And it just happened to be she had Debo and Purdy, and I had Dak and CeeDee Lamb, and it played out in real time. Now, he says Ayuk is a good player, but he's not even top 10. No.
It's not about him being one through whatever. It is what he garners, the attention he garners from defense and the plays that he can make when he's supposed to make those plays. That's why he's so valuable.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mason says the fact that they bank on Shanahan turning any QB, running back, receiver to a good player but not winning a Super Bowl is why they believe they don't have to pay. That's the point.
It is that exactly. Pin that.
That's a good point.
Because they feel like we can keep shopping on the Denny can aisle and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So far we just getting the cans with the label ripped off. There ain't no dents in them. The label is
just
the
name brand dents, though.
Like, is these peaches or is these pears in this can? You don't know what you're getting, but once you open it up, you make you a nice little fruit salad.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in Nashville, they still getting that silver can with the black possum hanging from the name on it.
The problem with San Francisco doing that is it has an expiration date as soon as you open it.
Exactly.
So that's why by the time it comes, it's like, oh.
Exactly. Pin that.
Save some of that for Stacey, Mike. Save some of that. You're on fire, bro. You're on fire. Save some of that.
Because you can only, it's like they're getting, it's almost like San Francisco is being run like college. One and done. Get them in, win, and leave. But you're not winning what your ultimate goal is, which is that Super Bowl. So if you're not winning, you need to pay these players to help to make them stay there to help you get to where you want to be. And Brandon Ayuk has said, when they said, where do you see yourself? He says, in San Francisco. They even asked that man, where does he want to play? And he said his family is out here. He likes being in San Francisco. But you know,
they have all the leverage over Ayuk right now, so he's gonna have to pout. You losing too much money now. She's the Titans on Wick. Juicy. Remember the Juicy Juice?
Juicy Juice is nasty. Like,
that's what was saying.
Because I used to get Wick, and when it was the Juicy Juice, first time I got it, I was like, I don't want this. It was just good for that Infamil, because you know, it's hard when your child get teeth at 6 months.
Now, for all of you mothers out there that are on Wick, I want you to look at Tasha T. So she just told you she started on Wick, and now she lives in another country. So where you start ain't never gonna be where you finish. Here at the extra point, like, I don't want that to go over some people's heads. There, you know, you hang in there, stay in the fight. Juicy Juice was.
That's a lie, because I don't know who you got it from. Because when I never got it with the Wick coupon.
See, look, another success story. Christina said started on Wick too. She's down there in Georgia doing big things. I see your big
that mansion house now.
Right, she's out there. She's looking like the Clampets when they hit that oil.
She in them big houses that she got to worry about that HOA now.
Hey, them HOAs will get in your ass.
Keep that grass cut, Christina, because they be lurking. They look behind that curtain. Keep that grass cut. Martrice, okay, message. Yes. That's what we do here at the Extra Point. We got some fantastic women followers. The guys, y'all cool too, but we got some fantastic women followers. So Mike, you said you're gonna pay Trent Williams instead of Brandon Ayuk and just kind of let him go on about the wayside. Tasha, you basically said pay Trent Williams and let him go on by the wayside. Okay, I think I agree. Because you got a quarterback that you're about to invest heavily in, and you got to protect his left side. You just got to, especially in the NFC.
I mean, I get everybody wants to be paid, and maybe he wants to get paid so early because he know they're going to break the bank when it comes to Brock Purdy. But you don't know if Brock Purdy's still going to have this type of success. What if he actually turns out to be the 200 whatever player drafted this season? You don't know. And so
Mike, answer that, Mike. Answer that. Is he? Are you sold on Brock?
I mean, then they're not going to pay him because he's not performing. So then that'll leave money open for Ayuk. You still have time on your contract, just like everybody keep talking about pay Micah. Micah has 2 years left.
Micah can sit down. Oh, and the thing is, we have to shelve Jerry's comments till next week, because I knew that we would get heavy involved into the Big Ten topics. But we're going to talk about that too, because I agree with Jerry 1,000% on his stance on I ain't paying y'all a penny until y'all get me to the NFC Championship game. I agree with that. That's a tease for next week. AP Culture, me too. Wick was the one that beef in the can. Then she got a Masters hanging up on her wall. Don't tell me that it's about where you start. She got a Masters hanging up on her wall. 30 years in the game with Metro Water. About to retire. Sitting on a little gold mine up there on the hill. Okay. Mm-hmm. We see you, AP.
Mama, when you do finally sell, send your girl a few coin down here.
Look, shh, we gonna do that. We gonna do that in the chat, Mama. Join the chat. Like, can I get a new PlayStation game? Anyway, as we digress. All right, I agree with y'all there. So, but Tasha, you gotta pay him, because I'm looking here at $212 million on a 4-year deal for Tua Tagovailoa. I'll take Brock Purdy over him.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike, I know you take Brock Purdy over Tua, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go off, Mike.
No, I didn't say nothing. I mean, he just got paid, but
we all know how Mike feels about Bama.
Look, we got new viewers every episode. I won't like Mike don't rock with Tua like that, and that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. He ain't so he gonna make the money
until he got his eggs cracked and scrambled right down the 40-yard line down there in Miami.
Last week, Tasha said that he stood up right, and that was so disrespectful and hilarious at the same time. Mike doesn't. Mike's his. I'm not going to call it hate. I'm not going to call it disdain. I'm going to just call it lack of. I don't even know what the word is called.
Lack of NFL development for.
He ain't sold on Tua.
Mosquito in here. Oh, go ahead.
Because you got he see all that bark on your tree over there. He see all. Think you outside. I digress. Tua, is that a bad deal, Tosh?
Yeah, it's no way in hell. But like I put in our chat, and in 15 years from now, don't come suing the NFL because we all saw what happened. Right. We know you really and truly probably should not have played last season. Right. So you better take that money and bank it. Don't be out here wasting it because when it comes time, if I was in the NFL, when it comes lawsuit time, I'm just going to pull that tape. I'm just like, hit play.
Now, Mike asked me a question yesterday in the chat, and I thought it would be a fun exercise to ask here to everyone else. He asked me if I thought Tua would coast after getting this money. And the more I had a chance to kind of think about it and fully understand what he meant by coasting, this could be one of those situations like what Lamar's doing right now. I got a head cold. My back is a little tight. My hammy ain't too good. You can't check a back on the X-ray. My back ain't right. I'm feeling a little woozy this week. I don't know if I want to play against Pittsburgh and TJ Watt this week. I don't know. The 49ers are kind of physical. My kidney is a little awry this week. I got my guarantee. It may only be about 60, 70 million, but that ain't only if you ain't got it. Like, now I'm starting to think he might be like, I got my money. Y'all can.
I think, yeah. I mean, it's not.
They got to sprinkle some cheese on these eggs I got scrambled, so I may have to just lay low for a minute.
It's not anything new. I mean, these veteran quarterbacks for a while now have been doing this. I mean, look at Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers when they were winning. I mean, especially Tom Brady. He always did it. He never showed up. He was like, "All right, I'm gonna catch it." He didn't even. He just didn't give. Yeah, he just didn't give an excuse. He's like, "No, oh yeah, Tom Brady," but no one said anything because he didn't have to because he was winning. So, and he was your main, quarterback. So I think that's what these guys are doing. They're like, okay, well, if I'm your main guy, I don't think I need to be out there. I'm just gonna take it back, right? So and plus, you see all these players. I mean, it's mostly younger players, which is kind of weird that are getting hurt during these, early practices.
They ain't built like us. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us.
You know what my friend told me a long time ago? He says, do you notice, he says, how all these players are getting injured? And we didn't get injured like that. He said because they're too big. They're putting on all this muscle. They're doing all of this. The workout and the conditioning is fine. But he says that's too much weight to have on your joints when you're constantly doing that type of, play. Like you're playing like that's too much weight on your joints.
That is a very interesting point because it takes me back to the criticism that Tom Brady used to go through for not lifting weights. And Bill Belichick used to be livid that he had his own trainer that was doing yoga and stretching and a lot of other pliability type exercises rather than just trying to run up there and be muscle man. And look how long he lasted in the league. And he got hit in the knee on a dirty hit. And that cost him one season, but other than that, he was healthy. Go ahead.
But the quarterback position, typically your quarterback is not the beacon of physical health. Now, these hybrid quarterbacks are coming out there. Most of them, that's just genetics.
I'm worried about Alex Orji being too big.
Yeah, look at what's his name? In Indianapolis. Look, I sent you that video of him.
Anthony Richardson.
Of him doing a 360 dunk. But then you look at somebody like Shador who has no muscles.
Yeah, but that black card is heavy.
They said because the arms, if you get your arms too big, it's hard to get that thing going.
Right. So you got to pause this week. That was me last week. Pause.
Well, sometimes when
as we digress, Mike, y'all get me ready for my date night. All right.
It ain't hard.
Real quick.
What you doing?
Look, Langston. Right. Speaking of love, since love is in the air today in McKinney, Jordan Love, money well spent. He's 220, 4 years, 75 mil signing bonus, and 55 annually matching Joe Burrow. Money well spent.
Mike, what did you say in the group chat about Green Bay?
I say, Green Bay doesn't fail on quarterbacks. So I'm not going to say anything against what Green Bay does on quarterbacks. keep doing what they're doing. I ain't saying nothing.
Is it too soon? We saw half a season and one playoff victory over a Dallas team that can't get out of their own way.
I mean, I kind of thought it was too soon, but I'm not surprised. Because, like I said, because I don't have any faith in what my 49ers are doing this year. I actually have Detroit. Then I was kind of going in and out with Green Bay and Dallas, but Dallas ain't got pieces in. So I had them second. I had Detroit, Green Bay, and San Francisco.
I like Detroit. I really do. But
I had the Eagles. That's what I was going. It was in and out with the Eagles. That's what it was.
Nick Sirianni ain't gonna make it to Thanksgiving.
I mean, I really believe Jalen Hurts was hurt last year and they couldn't perform. Then you had, AJ Brown out here acting like a bitch and everything else was going on. You got Saquon, you got some pieces in. I mean, you're losing the Kelsey boy, but I mean, I think Philly
every year, Tasha and Mike, every year the Eagles win the offseason. They signed Eric Dickerson one summer. They signed Joe Namath another summer. They always win the offseason. When y'all gonna win that championship?
Not Joe Namath.
Like they get the names in every year.
They still got a most recent championship compared to the Cowboys.
But then run the numbers. Because if I asked you that with Ohio State and Michigan, you'd be like, well, yeah, but that's a bad example.
Michigan won last year, so I don't know
what I'm saying.
Say, Paul.
Yeah, well, yeah. How many have Ohio State won since 2000? You're gonna be like, Michigan won in the 30s. Look, the Eagles I will never box down to the Eagles. I will only box with the 49ers because they're on equal footing. 49ers, the Packers, the Patriots, and the Steelers. We can talk championships with them Cowboys. Philly, you down there with Tampa Bay and the Rams.
Speaking of the Rams, I mean,
speaking of the Rams, are they runner up? Are they a playoff team this year?
Yes.
I mean, they got them two defensive pieces. Y'all saw what? Well, I don't know. Y'all saw
they got Corum too.
Cut a fool.
I'm with you, Langston. I got KC. The rest is playing for second place. They're about to win 3 in a row. Because Mitchell out there, that kid out of Texas that broke the 40 record, he's out there dropping bombs to him now. All he needed was a deep threat. Travis Kelce's still going to be at an all-pro level this year. Chris Jones is still the most dominant big man in the league. Jeffrey Simmons a close second. They're going to win it all again. That's who my betting money is on. But y'all better watch out for Hall & Oates. You know who Hall & Oates is. That's Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. You don't know they white until you turn on the TV. If you don't know that's you're like.
I don't know. His name is Cooper. That was
Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua is Hall & Oates, who dominated the R&B charts, and nobody knew they was white until you got cable.
Till MTV came out, it was like, what? Man, him is white.
And you know what we said? Don't matter because they still out here eating because
as blue-eyed soul.
That discography is not to be played with in my Tasha voice. Now we got a hard out for Mike. So Mike, give me your favorite Olympic events before we get into T-Sizzle's top 5. What are you looking for in the Olympics these next 2 weeks?
I'm gonna go with gymnastics. I'm gonna go with swimming.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with track and field, specifically more of like the sprinting, like the relay and the 100, 400. I think those are my top 3. Yeah.
Who you shouting out this week?
I'm gonna shout out my beautiful wife. How about that? Got our date night today.
Mike, eat some grapes and some cantaloupe.
He gonna slurp me like a mango.
And some pineapples.
No pineapples. There are no safe words tonight.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. You go all out. You know what I'm saying? I want to see you in a neck brace.
I don't want to see no bubbles popping up in our chat, Mike, tonight.
And I will not bother you because you know I'm gonna send you the eyeball emoji to see if you're still up. Because you're gonna be sleep around 12:30.
Let's just block him.
Wait a minute, no, Christina, your brother need love too. We're rooting him on. He got on his Michigan gear. Oh, it's about to be a lovely day.
No, put the hat like that.
A lovely day. A lovely day. No, Mike said he gonna do some fencing.
He gonna be stabbing at it. There you go.
Whether was the case,
Hi-ya!
Hey, you gotta put it back. All right, Mike, get on out of here and get your weekend started. Thank you. We will see you next week. Right, like she says.
Sasha, stop. You know I hate that damn song.
We're going off the rails here as we close the extra point and love it. Tasha T. Sizzle, it's time for a top five. We hadn't had one in a few weeks. Can you give the people your top five Olympic events? The show is yours.
I mean, as far back as I can remember, which my first recollection of Olympics was Mary Lou Retton in that Star-Spangled leotard, getting that perfect 10 and winning the gold. So it's always going to be gymnastics for me. Also, track and field. I mean, I sit here and watch track and field now, but we got to watch out. Down here in Dominican Republic, the number one 400-meter runner in the world is a lady they call Paulino.
Okay.
She gonna get whoever, I don't know who we have at the 400, but they got to be ready for her because for the last two years or so, she's been cleaning house, 2 or 3 years. And of course, it's the swimming. I love the swimming. It used to be diving. But since Greg Louganis's, fame, and after that, the U.S. never really did good with diving overall. I kind of shied away from the diving. But one event that I do like is synchronized swimming.
Really?
I just think
interesting.
And then they go under the water with ease. And then, I'm like, how do they do that?
Interesting.
And last but not least, the one that I really want to watch, I want to watch tennis because y'all know I am in love with Coco Gauff. She is a doll.
Flag bearer.
Yes, flag bearer. So I'm really interested in seeing the tennis. I want her to do good. And plus the 2 Spaniards. Y'all know I love Rafael Nadal. He's playing doubles with the current Wimbledon champion. And I just want to see him because that's eye candy.
This woman right here. I will put my 401k up with this woman against really any dude too. But as far as top to bottom sports that can get with you on your level, talking softball, football, baseball, tennis, boxing, UFC, gymnastics, like she go hard. Tasha, I didn't see basketball on your list.
I mean, with the women's basketball team, I think it's a given. There's no reason whatsoever that they should. What is this? Their 8th or 9th? They did lose
to Caitlin and Angel the other night.
Because who showed out on them? Who showed out on them? The one who should have been on that team.
Right.
That's who showed out on them.
And she showed them too.
She did. But like she said, it was all politics, and she voluntarily took herself out of that because she was like, she didn't want to be involved in the politics. Right. Either I'm on them or I'm off. I'm not going to beg to be on this team.
Right.
The men, I don't know, is looking kind of shaky.
Never fear. King Beijing is here.
Did y'all, Paul and I have been friends for far, far too long.
Not long enough. Let's do it some more.
As I'm sitting here watching the opening ceremonies, I watched it at 1:30 live, and it was raining. And when they showed a shot of LeBron James, the first thing I said, oh, his hairline looked a little thick. Then I immediately said, Lord, has he got Beijing in there and it's raining? Literally about an hour later, Paul sends a message talking about it's raining. Is his Beijing going to run down his face or something of that nature? And I lost it.
We've been hanging around each other too.
The fact that we both sat there and thought about the Beijing of it all. But no, I just think the men's and we still together. Oh, you got some men's quality. Shout out to Frederick Floyd.
Oh, and Treese too. Treese look like us too. She's been there day one. We throwing our arms around Treese.
And we still together.
Yes.
But
go ahead, finish Tasha.
but like I said, with the men's basketball is so open now because you have so many of the Europeans playing in the NBA. They've learned our game, but it's hard for us to transition to their game. And Olympic style basketball is Eurocentric.
Great
Just
point.
like there's no goaltending on certain plays. There
Great
would be goaltending in the
point.
NBA.
Great point. And you see tentativeness from the bigs for the USA, Embiid and Davis, when it comes to rim protection, because they're used to that being, goaltending. That's a great point.
But I do know in order for them to win, I know that everybody want to say LeBron is scoring. He has no choice because KD is injured. If KD gets that calf together, it's lights out.
KD, sit this out. You are too important to the Phoenix Suns in a loaded West with so much on the line.
But when they pulled out Kawhi, y'all had something to say.
Well, that's because right. And we love you back, Trees. Yeah. We love you right back. Well, that's because of his track record. You load manage him, he missed the playoffs. You don't load manage him, he missed the season and the playoffs. Like, you just can't win with Kawhi. And if you just came off of sitting out the playoffs in a tough series, which they could have won if you were out there, they could have beat Dallas. It was 2-2 when he decided to take a seat. And then they lose the next two. They could have beaten Dallas, and who knows how the finals turns out to that point. But volleyball, I like volleyball. I'm really looking for Trey Lyles to pull the double to win the 200 and the 100 for the United States. Oh, Noah Lyles. I'm sorry, there's Noah Lyles. You're right. And I'm also looking for Sha'Carri Richardson to take down the holy trinity that is the Jamaican women's sprinters. That's going to be
Let me tell you something. Them Jamaican girls, not Shelly Ann Fraser Price, Sharika Jackson.
Sharika Jackson is the one. She's the one to come after.
Yeah.
One, did the king lose an inch of hairline in the rain? We were asking that. Mom, for real. I was concerned. He needed his do-rag. Savannah was supposed to keep one in her purse for days like this. Savannah, you're the queen of sports, but you slept on the job. He should have had a little do-rag in his.
That ain't her fault that he don't want to come home. If y'all know what I mean, come home home to the ball sack.
The man's hairline pushed forward as he got older. He got the Benjamin Button's hairline.
But it's thin up in the top. It's thin. It's Charlie Brownish. And all that pretty, nice, waved up hair he got, and it's just thin. Bless his heart. He
got more hair than Bronny and Bryce now. But hey, that's what being a billionaire will do for you. Tasha, who you shouting out this week?
To be honest, I don't really have no shout outs. Oh, I do have to shout out my neighbor. Y'all know little CJ, the little dog I have, his father and his mother, because I'm doing a little reconciliation here. And sometimes if you use the QuickBooks app online, it messes up. And what did Millie say? My lovely vecinos. They said, oh, come over. You can use our computer. So shout out to my neighbor, because they have it. They already have the QuickBooks installed, and they have two big, like 32-inch monitors. So I'm about to go over there actually when we're done here, maybe 12 noon my time, and get some work done. Now,
Langston says, beignets, shrimp and grits, and virgin hand grenade calls. He's down there on Bourbon, baby. Langston, go down there and make another.
Okay.
Make another one, Langston. Hey.
Are you gonna be like everybody else and go to Cafe Du Monde?
No, what you need to do is go on back up to the telly and make another one. Bring another one on in here, Langston. You still got it. Jay-Z did it. The late night talk show host, what was his name?
Who?
The one who replaced Johnny Carson on CBS. What was his name? I can't remember his name. Now he looks like Santa Claus. David Letterman. He had a baby at 55.
Well, laissez la bonne les rouler. Let the good times.
That means we'll see y'all in 6 days and 23 hours. We'll see y'all. Peace. Enjoy the Olympics.
Bon temps rouler.
And parlez-vous français to you too.
And beans and disease.
No, you can't.